Have you ever wanted to smell like fried chicken? Or what about Cheetos? When I was a kid, I would spend hours in the mall smelling fragrances, but now that I'm an adult, I realize that fragrances can get pretty weird. I spent the last month digging deep into the dark corners of the internet, and I found 3 of the weirdest fragrances in the world. So I bought them, and I'm gonna rate each to determine which one is truly the weirdest. Starting with this one. Introducing Eau D'uardro, a fragrance by KFC? Until today, I've never woke up thinking, I want to smell like Colonel Sanders' 11 herbs and spices. But we can thank the KFC Spain team for this fragrance and my recent urges. Packaged in a bottle that looks like a fried chicken drumstick and inspired by Colonel Sanders, we have Eau D'uardro. Look at that distribution. That's crazy. The missus hates it. To me, Eau D'uardro doesn't smell like you would expect. Personally, I feel like this one has this citrusy and fresh opening, almost like a squeezed orange. I think you get a bunch of spice here, which is par for the course because their chicken should have 31 herbs and spices. I don't think this fragrance is one I would completely write off as unwearable. Listen, there's gonna be some fragrance niche connoisseurs out there who would say, this smells amazing. So it's a pass for her, and it would not be a wear for me, but for one of you out there, it might be a fragrance that you love. Originally could be picked up for just about $4 with the purchase of your KFC value meal, but those times are long gone. It has since sold out, and this bottle here cost me a whopping $80. All right, I'm gonna be rating each of these fragrances up to 5 stars. 1 star being pretty normal, almost like your everyday fragrance, and 5 stars being it's rare, unique, and most importantly, weird. Eau D'uardro was originally limited to 25,000 fragrances, so again, I would say it's weird. Check. In my personal opinion, the scent isn't the most unique, but the fragrance bottle is crazy weird. During my time of smelling fragrances, I've come across fragrances that have been hyper realistic, really close to what they should smell like, and I think that KFC missed a real opportunity to make this one smell like, well, fried chicken. So for those reasons, this one gets a 3.5 out of 5 stars. On to the next fragrance. After much searching, I found the perfect fragrance to complement fried chicken. From Coca-Cola, we have the scent of Fanta. The scent of Fanta is also a limited edition fragrance, and it's one that Coca-Cola is calling a wearable version of their beloved orange soda. I'd say mission accomplished. The scent of Fanta starts off bubbly and bright with this orange note that truly shows up as a star. It has this soft sweetness as well as this tart nature to the overall composition. Let me keep this one as simple as possible. This one smells just like orange Fanta soda. To be more specific, this one smells more bold, and it also has a fruitier orange take, and it also comes off as playful and fun. Now, based on the type of fragrance this is, I was expecting it to have a more gimmicky presentation, but it's pretty basic and has more of a classy presentation than I would originally have thought. Now, the fragrance itself doesn't feel ultra high quality, but it also doesn't feel cheap. Surprisingly enough, if I had to classify the scent of Fanta, I would say that in the opening, it comes off as a bit more feminine, and by the presentation, you could tell that. But also, as it begins to dry down, it does take a darker twist and becomes a bit more masculine. So I guess the scent of Fanta is unique on the account that it does smell like an orange Fanta. I can't imagine how many flies or bees would be attracted to you or following you around at a cookout if you were wearing this one out and about. Again, there isn't anything particularly odd or unique about the presentation, so despite how weird this fragrance might sound, it's not as weird as you might think. The scent of Fanta was released in limited quantities, but it is easier to find than the other 2 fragrances on our list today. It does smell like soda, but the missus said it doesn't make her want to drink me. So for those reasons, this one gets a 3 out of 5 stars. The next fragrance is by far the rarest fragrance on our list today. It was released over 10 years ago, and there's only 400 bottles ever made. The fragrance is none other than Cheeto by Cheetos. Yes, I'm talking about the cheese puffs by Frito-Lays. Cheeto was released to be an April Fool's prank. But I guess the joke's on me because I was only able to find this in the 15 ml sample and it only had a few sprays left, and this thing cost me 60 bucks. Oh, it's cheesy. Cheesy. I checked on Fragrantica for fragrances with cheesy notes and there were only 13. So that might give you some insights to the demands for cheesy fragrances. Now, this one isn't all cheese. At times you get this blast of butter that almost smells like movie theater popcorn. Buttery smoothness, sharp cheddar, and lemon for that perfect balance. But this one's strong, so if you're wearing it, you're gonna leave behind more than just cheesy fingerprints. All of that said, this one is a really weird fragrance and not one I think many people would be rushing to make their signature scent if they had the opportunity. Cheeto by Cheetos was extremely limited and they produce less bottles than they have calories in a bag. The original presentation for Cheeto was quite basic and another missed opportunity to do something really funky and odd. At any rate, the concept, smell, and marketing plan were all extremely weird, and I would give this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars on the weirdo meter. But that means there still may be weirder fragrances out there. Comment below if we should continue the hunt for the world's weirdest fragrances. And click here to see what happened when I purchased the world's best Lattafa fragrances from TikTok.